Well, folks, here again for the weekly forecast. In this last week, we watched a couple systems move across the state. The first one was well advertised by the models last week, and we actually seen that frontal boundary move across the state in a slow forward fashion from essentially Sunday afternoon all the way through Tuesday. And of course, we've seen some good precipitation breakout in portions of west central Nebraska and a few isolated spots in central Nebraska, and then a reformation of the thunderstorms and some severe weather across eastern Nebraska. And then, of course, we had the secondary push of colder air as we came in toward the middle of the week, and of course Thursday brought some precipitation, some isolated severe weather across eastern Nebraska and the northern portion of the state. So before we get into the main forecast, I thought I'd bring you up to date on what we actually seen on a statewide basis during the month of September, and this is all from NextWeather estimated radar, but it gives us a good idea of where the heaviest of the precipitation fall. And you'll notice that a broad area from south central up through east central Nebraska had better than a couple inches of moisture, with a high pocket of 6 to 8 inches of moisture up in the West Point region. And then of course over northern Iowa we've been seeing inundating rainfall on several occasions. But farther westward you go, the drier the conditions are. We have had some very dry conditions in the Ogallala North Platte area and of course in the northwestern Sandhills. Now some of this was replaced with some heavy precipitation most recently, so we are expecting to see some further improvements. Now what we have going for today is that we have a jet stream that's way far to the north of us, and of course we have our hurricane that's moving up the eastern seaboard expected to stall out. But this system is going to start to dive down in the western United States as we see a trough coming in. But for our region, you know, we're looking at fairly nice conditions this weekend. Nothing that we can complain about, but as the week progresses, we'll start to see this trough breaking down. So here we are on Monday, starting to see the low in the northwestern United States trying to push this trough down, and we have another system coming in the western United States with a little bit of ridging in front of it. So the question is, how fast will this system move out into our region? And there are some signs by Wednesday we'll start to see some of this energy pushing out, but it doesn't look like we're going to see much in the way of significant moisture. But as we get toward the end of the week, we'll start to see that system coming on shore. Now, one of the things that we do know with this model is they tend to move these upper air lows fairly fast, so it's very possible that this is moving it too fast, the GFS model, and we'll see this slow down somewhat. So it looks a little bit more aggressive than what's really going to happen. In terms of precipitation, as we watch the precipitation, most of the activity is going to be right along the eastern seaboard in association with Matthew, and you'll see that start to move outshore. A little bit of scatter light precipitation in the southern plains as we go into Sunday, but as we go into Monday, we'll start to see some of that energy moving out into Kansas. Some of this might actually just touch southern Nebraska with a few sprinkles, but otherwise dry conditions as we go into Tuesday. And as we go into the day on Wednesday, we'll start to see some of the moisture starting to move into the western United States, particularly northwestern United States, and that'll start to fill in gradually as we move into the day on Thursday into the central Rockies. And more importantly, as we get into Friday, this will start pushing out to a more widespread precipitation pattern across the central Rockies. So as we go to the 8 to 14 day forecast, with that trough coming in, high pressure dominates most of the eastern and central United States with above normal temperatures. And in terms of precipitation, of course, with that ridge, dry conditions are expected at least from next Thursday to the following Tuesday.